you must also remember spiritual psychosis has a lot to do with people's traumas that they have not dealt with, and they have given it a body, but it's spirituality. There's trauma that when I am feeling this way, there's a certain level of lust that comes. It happens in grief a lot. It's trauma within self. Sometimes our traumas, Patanani, we do not speak them out. Sizwe mina mangisamncane ngabamba umalume wangenza kaso leyo nto ngangayikhulumi ngakhula nayo. Later on ngarealize ukuthi the only way to deal with that trauma is to ask Patanani, can we sleep together? When you reach a climax, usuka ama chakras akhala.
Yes.
Hey, said DJ and siya climax. Silala nobani lapho laba abasifikisa lapho ku aligned chakra. Is it a personal thing lapho?
It's still spiritually.
Is it a personal thing?
No, it's not. It's spiritually.
Spirit.
No, it means that there's a certain Isithunywa, there's a certain higher self that wants to connect to you. Because if you take a look at sex is done by two people, and these two people, they are meant to recreate something or to create something into a form. So if you are keep on udlali DJing, that means there's a certain spirit or a certain Isithunywa, the higher self that wants to connect to you. But metaphorically, so it's using sex to communicate now.
You spoke about emhlabeni kuyasho ukuthi uma igazi linemali kumele uthola umfazi or i-girlfriend onemali. It's just me being gay. How about us, same sex?
No, you need
the blood. I'm talking to.
It's a very good question.
Ask this.
Thank you. So I just want to know, and honestly, I know I'm not alone. Even us, do we need to find umuntu negazi or
in my field of expertise,
which is
being gay.
Oh.
Okay.
Just take another sip.
Yes,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another interesting episode of Munchies and Thoughts. Your host, Chef Patanani Mbata. Kukhulunyiwe okuningi satrenda all over the social media. Isithunywa feed through sex. Now is the moment. Let's talk, darlings. I am your host, Chef Patanani Mbata, and welcome to Munchies and Thoughts. San Monani.
Hey.
Hi, darlings.
So good to see you.
Good to see
It's
you.
been a minute, Chef. It's really been a minute. And you keep glowing every time I see you.
Oh my goodness. It's too much through sex. Go to someone. Ngiyaphila. Smart makhosi someone.
Emakhosini khehla njani?
Siyaphila kunjani?
I'm good. I missed the table.
It's yeah. Anyway, mkhulu someone.
Sawubona ke.
Oh my goodness, before we can start, you'll start introducing yourself. Who are you, where you from, what's special about you, and of course, if you want to leave your numbers, please do so, because you'll never know after this episode, and he will follow until it comes back to the chef of the nation.
Siyabonga Mbata, okhuluma iBob Mahlangu. I'm all the way from Pretoria. I'm a spiritual healer. Mina ngumuntu kaNkulunkulu who does umsebenzi kaJehova. Siyabonga. Okay, so yes, ngisebenza kakhulu ngendaba yamakhosi, ngisebenza ngendaba yemimoya. Ngisebenza kakhulu ngokumentora spiritually, so I'm a global mentor, and I've got content online which is educating people around spirituality. So I'm more of a modern spiritualist. So I'm all the way from Pretoria. I do onlines, and I'm also available physically. So in number I'm 061 063 9793.
Siyabonga. Over to you.
Emakhosini siyakhuleka. I go by the name of Smart Makhosi Sizwe. Ngiyisazi. I'm a numerologist. I'm a spiritual healer. I'm a universal healer. / medium. Most of the people they say ngogobela myself initiate. Well, maybe it's high time I accept that, but it's fine. It's okay. Yes. And for everyone who wants to find me, I think you can just find me in all social media platforms. Smart Makhosi Sizwe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sawubona.
Hi, my name is Tepiso Hope Ngobeni. Hey, people have fancy names. I am just Tepiso Hope Ngobeni and I am a light worker. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so via Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. The name doesn't change. Tepiso Hope Ngobeni. If you are really needing of me, you can inbox me. I can give you my number and then we can talk.
Thank you. Hello, darling.
Hi. Well, hello, lovers and friends. I go by Mrs. Jasmine, and I'm an intimacy coach, an essential pleasure coach. So all things sensuality, all things sexual that will liberate you and bring out the best of you, so you can actually get to enjoy your sexuality to the fullest and be able to receive pleasure. Whether you're single or you're coupled, whether you're a kinkster or vanilla, that's where I come in. So we also run workshops. We have a studio in 4 ways. Just find us on www.playwithme.co.za. Otherwise, WhatsApp us on 076 1733529.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
My Munchies and Thoughts family. Basichazele ukuthi bangobani, babuyaphi. And of course, I want to acknowledge our partner Databank. I hope you guys have got a Databank app.
Yes.
I hope you guys did register on a Databank app. And I'm sure you are making money. Because if you are a Databank family member, you can refer people in order for you to make money. And no monthly subscription, no installment. We used to pay installment, bond,
Yeah.
car, and other things, of course. So, of course, I want to say thank you to Databank. We are sitting here. You can all see behind you. Please look behind you guys. Look behind you guys. So whoever that is watching us, please do go to the website, databank.com, and download the app and make sure you register. You can use my Databank ID, which is MB781. You will get your own ID as soon as your account is verified. Then you can refer people. Referring people, you will be making money. Lawa Databank, siyapana. Uyabona manje siphuza ngiphuza wine because of Databank. On that note, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Smart Marcos, you said Isithunywa feed through sex.
Yes.
Are you still standing?
Yes.
Talk to us.
The algorithm of the universe, it's very funny because I find myself in the same space, in the same table again, having to talk about this while I've been backlashed so many times. But the main purpose is to teach, and for whoever has the ear will listen. Before we look Isithunywa as an external spirit, Gogotepiso, as a marine spirit or as a land spirit, that is, we may call divine or divinity, we must first consider Isithunywa as the higher self engaphakathi kwena. The higher self that lives within you, the higher self that is a conscious of divinity, that seeks or that wishes you all the best and everything that is pure for you. Now, having to find yourself engaging in a sexual intercourse with someone, that is why we have what we call that is why we have what we call chakras, because each chakra has its own purpose ngendlela esebenza ngakhona. If I get to have an intimacy with ugogo Tepiso, and then Tepiso has both the negative and the good energy, Isithunywa Sam will be able to suck up on the good energy that I need from Tepiso, from what I don't have. And then the whole negative energy that Tepiso has, it's in the duty of my sacral chakra at the back to absorb that negative energy and store it. That is why you find abantu who are spiritually gifted bephathwa yiqolo, athi umuntu noma lithekala libuhlungu and whatsoever, beta. That's it, so that your sacral chakra can be able to vibrate and release the negative energy that is there. But what happened to the whole positive energy that you receive from Tepiso, because it sucks up on that ritual that you guys are doing. That energy, it will kind of help you. If Tepiso that energy will kind of help to unlock amaphupho Tepiso. Mhlambe Tepiso inhlanhla yakhe mhlambe ngazathi I attacked whatever that it needs to attack. Then me and Tepiso, we met sexually to perform this ritual for a certain purpose, so that eyakhe inhlanhla inhlanhla izokwazi uqhuma somewhere athole whatever le ayidingayo mhlambe at that particular time mhlambe uThepiso beyangakhona uthola umsebenzi but because of my pure energy that is very good, that is very attracting inhlanhla yami, now Thepiso is able to find umsebenzi as a partner, as my partner, or as a one night stand.
Okay, you are looking at Sizwe as if you've got a lot to say.
Actually, I'm learning more than anything. But from what he's saying, I can really attest to that because there are instances like when you sleep with this person, it transforms. And we've seen men who are using such women. And so, because you can sleep with someone who's got a negative energy that can actually taint umoya wako so much that ithunywa zakho azisakwazi ukuphakama kahle. So during sex, there is something amazing that happens, which is an exchange. So this exchange can be both good and bad. So there are instances where abantu abadala can connect you with someone just to have sex with. Akwazi ukubathi lento uma start imoto. Akwazi ukujump-start bese uyadlula, because there are arranged relationships where people just come together and all of a sudden they just disappear because that was an arranged engagement for one to actually get empowerment. So that's actually how I understand it.
So are you saying, apologies, abantu abadala can connect you with someone just to have sex for your luck?
100%.
Oh, well, I'm learning. It's appreciation.
Yeah.
You were looking at Sizwe and you're saying it's after.
Mina ngiyasithanda ngimtshela uSizwe ukuthi ngiyasithanda uthi Isithunywa is a higher divinity of yourself.
Yes.
Can we say ukuthi in your highest divinity you are an nymphomaniac that wants to feed off sex from other people for your own personal pleasure and benefit? Angisho self higher Isithunywa sikuwe. And let us not forget ukuthi when you are, there's your brain, there are your thoughts, your emotions and your feelings, right? Kunesithunywa, kunoSizwe. Can we say ukuthi uSizwe usithandela ucansi?
Personally, so without involving spirituality, yes.
Imake ngifuna lo higher self.
The higher self, it's me as a personal being, but once we involve Isithunywa in it, or the spiritual part of it, now we are tapping into the higher conscious divinity.
Of who?
Of myself.
Oh, hi sharp, okay. Qhubeka ngisadla.
Jasmine, what you say on this?
Because we mind, body, spirit, and we are mind, body. I'm picking up quite some very interesting stuff from the two gentlemen. And when it comes to sexuality, my understanding and my beliefs that we are here to have a human experience. And part of that as a spirit being, because you are a piece of the divine. And in order for you to manifest and to feel things tangibly, you need this blob of suit. We call a body that we actually get to feel things in them. And part of that is all the sensation, sound, whatever. And part of that is spirituality. When you say higher self, that's why now you tap to actually even the God inside of you. But because we do life so unconsciously, we don't even have an end in mind when we are going to engage with people sexually. You didn't even interrogate your own desire. So all you're feeling, I'm horny, I'm drawn to this person, and you come together. But there's a whole lot of exchanges, as you call it. And you find that now maybe you are depleted of energy, or you are just sad, or you're depressed and you don't know what happened.
Mamel, listen.
When you slept down, you know, and most of us are never taught to have that kind of conversation and go deeper into what is the desire, what is the root cause of the desire that you have. If it's going to be about money, or is it about healing, because we have healers on the table. If it's about healing, and I know that I'm going to have to go and fast and pray before I touch you so that I am covered. Other people, you gotta do that. But my point is, we just have law. We don't have consciousness of why you even come together with a person. What is it that you're trying to achieve? If it's just going to be about the body, then make it
About the body.
About the body. You were not calling him, but you were talking about being a nympho. Some people don't even have that self-awareness that it's actually the nympho part of you has got nothing to do with spirituality. You know, and sometimes you have had a bit of traumatic experience in the part in your life that drove you to now manifest in this nympho spirit, and it's it's a very scary thing to kind of confront yourself in that way. So rather than attach it to saying, I have this spirit that I can't even control it. You don't know what to do with it. So to going back and really finding your footprint of where is this desire, because we all have these desires that come out of us, but to interrogate that desire before it manifests physically in a form of sexuality, because we like to mate. That's how you come together. That's how you find clarity. Sometimes I just want to find clarity in myself, because when I speak to you, you speak life to me. When I speak to you, I ooze of confidence.
Okay.
So I want to attach to that. But when I have sex with you, I find that I'm empty when I'm done.
Okay, thank you. It's a piece you've got a lot to say. You're busy saying, now I'm giving you a chance.
Yeah.
Please.
Patana, yabona kumnandi ukukhuluma futhi ngocansi and spirituality. There's something called self. And esikhuluma kakhulu ngayo in spirituality.
Yeah.
Self yimi, right? Whether consciously or subconsciously, self belongs to me. And sex is a very selfish thing, because when I have sex, the aim of it is to self-benefit. I want to climax, I will make sure to get climax during sex. I want to cry in that sexual act, I will make sure I cry. It is a self thing. So whether I attach it to trauma, because a lot of people, you must also remember, spiritual psychosis has a lot to do with people's traumas that they have not dealt with, and they have given it a body, but it's spirituality. There's trauma that when I am feeling this way, there's a certain level of lust that comes. It happens in grief a lot. It's trauma within self. Sometimes our traumas, Patanani, we do not speak them out. Sizwe mina mangisamncane ngabamba umalume wangenza kaso leyo nto ngangayikhulumi ngakhula nayo. Later on ngarealize ukuthi the only way to deal with that trauma is to ask Patanani, can we sleep together? And because mentally I have not dealt with that thing, ngiyithathe le nto ngiyenze a spiritual thing, because I can't deal with it physically, so ngiyikhulume. Bakhona abantu abanjalo, let us not run away from that. Siyababona sidila nabo.
Yeah.
We are dealing with a lot of people that are emotionally and mentally scarred. And they don't know how to deal with this thing. And the only way, I always tell people, when I talk about sex, I talk about the bonobo apes. The bonobo ape, in happiness they have sex, in sadness they have sex, in comfort they have sex. It is because of the endorphins that they excrete that calms them down, or that puts them in a particular place. Now, as people, we are not different, because ngiyokhala ngizubuhlungu, usizo will come and embrace me. From that embrace, imizwa yami inyuke, mina nosize silale, sithi masiqeda ukulala ngizizwe ngiright. Let us also not take this that I cannot speak of, because I will be looked at differently. Ngifuna ukuyithatha ngibeke ku spirituality, because I spirituality sonke siyaphupha, idlozi langafike ephupheni, idlozi langakhombisa ikepe, idlozi nangithela ngikhombisa icansi ukuthi sengimele ngilalane because ngizoba right mase ngilalene. Asibeni neqiniso lokuthi, hi, my name is Tepiso Ngobeni and I love sex.
Okay. I hear you. I before I come to you, Kehla, you look shocked and amazed. What is in your mind right now?
What is in my mind right now is the fact that when we look at the human anatomy, we find a lot of systems which are basically there to receive and to also execute. So the body is a part of a human which is driving the human experience. But a human, in essence, is the soul. If we look at the aspects of the mind, emotions, thoughts, and the persona, it's on the soul level. So in my opinion, I would say that's spirit. So the body is basically there to receive and to actually execute. So I wouldn't necessarily look at pleasure as something that the body wants, but it's the spirit, the soul, the persona. That's what the self is. So if someone says they have sex for spiritual reasons, I totally agree with them, because the body is what makes the experience possible.
Smart.
No, ngiyaboila. Because this is a very sensitive topic to me. African people, or as healers, we believe so much in darkness that we don't want to embrace the light that comes within the darkness.
Okay.
And it's very simple for you to believe ukuthi abantu abathwele bayakwazi ukulala nawo for the sake of ukuthwebula inhlanhla zakhe and all of that. But why don't you believe ukuthi umuntu akwazi ukulala nawe just for the sake of for healing?
For healing
You
and
understand?
also getting in
And also getting inhlanhla in a pure divinity.
I
way.
love that. I love that.
But it's very simple for you to believe ukuthi no, ulala nawe just because ufuna ukuthola inhlanhla zakho uthwele unedlozi elisakha phaya and all of that. Believe nanokuthi no man, if this thing can be able to perform a certain darkness, then this thing can definitely do any light. Ayikho into uNkulunkulu that is created, or ayikho into that is divine and naturally created that doesn't practice the total of all polarities, whereby the darkness complements the light and the light complements the darkness. If when we are engaging in sex, you will never come if my chakras are not balanced.
Wow. Okay.
If they're not, you never. In order for you to come, all your chakras, they must be connected. Then you can reach that level of coming. That is why some people, when they are coming, because the power that they are receiving, the power that is awakening, the body, it's not used to that. So it experiences it in that 2 seconds of a mode. That is where the soul ties happen. That is where the exchanging of energies happen. That is where what people may call soulmates or twin flames or whatsoever, because we are performing what we call a ritual, even though when you might see it as a pleasure kind of a thing that we are doing between the two of us.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
But it's for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. What if the sex was horrible? Are the chakras balanced or imbalanced?
I actually, just to top up also on his on that question with regards to saying that the chakras have to be aligned in order for one to experience an orgasm, because there's also different kinds of orgasm. Is that there are people that have actually reached an orgasm while being raped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Traumaga.
So
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. I just want to top up to bad sex, and then if it's a case of a rape and the person now came, did actually climax and reach an orgasm, but it was
A rape case.
violation of the body and
She
spirit.
find pleasure in that, or he find pleasure in that.
The one who is being raped.
Yes,
Rape,
found
yes,
pleasure in
Yes,
that.
yes.
That is very deep because
No, thank you. Now I want you to help us there, which means the chakras were balanced.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay.
and for the fact that you find pleasure, can we tap into the spiritual side of it? Maybe in the ancestral part of it. Maybe there is a possibility that there is a spirit or there's a pattern of rape again, and it keeps on continuing generation to generation. And the reason why you are finding pleasure in it is because of your grandparents or gogwako or mamako never spoke about it. It was reserved. The spirit actually turned in itself as a kind of idlozi of some sort, a feminine, and then it continues generation to generation. What Utsepiso has said, I was raped by umalume. That means in my early ages, chances that I'll be attracted to older men are very high.
Oh, wow.
That's where the pleasure comes in psychologically.
Okay. Go to episode.
Hey.
You've got a lot. Please talk to us.
Yeah. You know, I love this thing because it uti Jasmine in a case of violation. Uti usizwe when you reach a climax usugama chakras akhala
Balanced, yes.
hey said DJ and siya climax silala nobani lapho laba abasifikisa lapho ku crack aligned chakra. Is it a personal thing lapho?
It's still spiritually.
Is it a personal thing?
No, it's not. It's spiritually.
ngilale nespirit.
No, it means that there's a certain Isithunywa, there's a certain higher self that wants to connect to you. Because if you take a look at sex is done by two people, and these two people, they are meant to recreate something or to create something into a form. So if you are keep on udlali DJing yakho, that means there's a certain spirit or a certain Isithunywa, the higher self that wants to connect to you. But metaphorically so, it's using sex to communicate now. And that is why you find yourself with DJ.
Okay, thank you.
Ungangivali phathelene sanayo.
Matha ngicela ukungalahleki angikwazi ukudj akusho ukuthini. I'm not a sex
The masturbation.
Masturbating.
Foreplay, yes.
Foreplay.
Oh, it's a good thing you asked that.
Yeah.
I literally was thinking DJ.
No.
Let's
It's the monkey as well. That's
I was like, oh,
it's
maybe
the
so-
foreplay, masturbation. Yes, it's a basic question.
So when you say this, Sizwe, and I like it because when we khuluma ngesingisi, so siyabuya sithi umuntu uyadlozomelwa. Kusho ukuthi le sithunywa lesi esibuya sikudlozomele ilesi esithanda ngapha. Esifuna ukuthi si connect nawe. Angisho ukuthi is higher self.
Yeah.
Ngisuka ngidlozomelwe yi higher self yami engifuna lapha ko DJ ukuthi mina naso si connect. What happens if in me masturbating I find the highest pleasure than in me having sex no Jasmine? Siyalala no
Oh,
Jasmine.
trust me, you will enjoy it.
Uyapop. Uyasikompela uJasmine mntana abantu iqolo lize lifuna ukuphuka. Thembisa uhleli la spring chicken. And this is it comes with, I always say self-care is the highest form of worship. Does it now take me back to lamakhosi lawa angafuna ukuthobela umuntu azenzelayo abo spirit nabo sizwe lazithwasisayo asuke ezidijele too much to a point ukuthi abafuni bona ukuthi kufuke uThepiso azofesha phezulu kwakho.
But this means that you don't need, if you are not enjoying sex Jasmine, but you are enjoying wena ngokwakho, that means you are complete wena ngokho. You don't need an external energy available Jasmine. That's why you're not enjoying it. You are complete. Your energy is complete. You don't need it. But the higher self or the conscious divinity, which is spiritual, it needs to connect to the higher self that says, wena Thepiso, you've actually, since waqala lolu hambo lolu kamoya, you've been focusing on the spiritual matters of it. Uyalapha, usiphithiphithi, uyathwasisa, usemanzini wenzani. Have you ever considered yourself as an archetype, as a being ephilayo emhlabeni? Lezi zinto lezi bowuzenza as uThepiso, bowuphuma when you jive, bowuphuma wena nabangani bakhe and all of that, but you are no longer doing all of that. But me as your Isithunywa that focuses on your self-well-being, mentally, emotionally and all of that, I need to connect you and realign you back to who you used to be, because you'd find pleasure in that. That means you don't need any external energy. And if I'm realigning you back to that, then you'd find yourself disconnecting now. Because why? Ifocus yakho ila, and mina ngithi qoka njengamanje ufake weave, ufake makeup, hambi yo jive, asambe so jive.
Yokugcina ufuna ukudla. Now Sizwe, iBhayibheli lithi sikhuluma nawo, uSpirit uthule sikhuluma nawo. Ithi lithi iBhayibheli sexual act is for procreation. Right? Now let's Isithunywa sona sifika singena kimi, sifike sithi wena Thepiso right when uloku uzishaya one man hlap. So it means less spirit. It is saying ukuyophela umhlaba because I am comfortable with Thepiso being with Thepiso and not reproducing, because Thepiso cannot reproduce with a dildo nor with her fingers. Kumele kube noSizwe ozofika lapho aplante iseed la phakathi kwaThepiso ukuze kube nabantu, because let us not remove ourselves from saying ukuthi idlozi lemdinga umuntu this ukuthi liphile just as much as umuntu uyalidinga idlozi ukuthi aphile, because there's recognition in both of each other. For ukuthi sazi ukuthi kunedlozi, it's because lingene umuntu wakhuluma ngalo. That is why namhlanje sazi ukuthi kunedlozi. Okay. Now leli dlozi leli elaziyo ukuthi umuntu ukuthi abe umuntu nalo libe khona, kumele kube nomunye umuntu ozofaka iseed ukuze kuzale komunye umuntu ukuthi the legacy yalobu dlozi bungapheli, buphelele kuThepiso nokudija kwakhe. Sithini lesi Isithunywa lesi mase sifika la sithi I am comfortable with being Thepiso and Isithunywa and us DJing.
Okay.
Sithi
Should I continue?
no ibe
Ngipaki. Only answer.
No, please answer because I want to go to Mkulu.
Thank you. Creation can be physical and creation can be mentally or as a personal self thing. If I want to create umsebenzi, I have to manifest that into the physicality of it. That means it has to start within me. I have to create it within me so that it can be physically in it. But when I'm saying, if Isithunywa wants you, sex in itself, it's a creation between two people, between wena and Isithunywa sako. What are you creating? You are creating the tepiso that is aligned to the social archetypes, be it umjolo, be it umsebenzi, be it whatever that you have to need, be it umgruvo wona ngokwakho. Because at the end of the day, the Isithunywa, the higher self divine in you, it is meant to teach you that ungumhambi emhlabeni and you have all the right to experience yourself in all forms of fluidity. In all forms of fluidity, be it it's spiritually, mentally, in any form of it, you are meant to experience yourself ganjalo. So if it's a tap into all the forms, it's giving birth or it's creating another archetype. You are allowed to go there, even if you don't want to go there, but you are allowed to go there.
Thank you. Thank you. Caesar, you can eat your food.
My lord.
Kekalam, you mentioned something when I started this topic.
Yes.
You spoke about ukuthi emhlabeni kuyasho ukuthi uma igazi nemali mentor umfazi or girlfriend or onemali. It's just me being gay. How about us, same sex? Find the blood. I'm talking to.
It's a very good question.
Ask this.
Thank you. So I just want to know, and honestly, I know I'm not alone. Even us, do we need to find umuntu negazi or yahluka khehla, and at the same time khehla? Ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi uma uzolala lo muntu lo wesifazane onemali, igazi nemali, or nala emadodeni makuthi khona uzong-educator nabo futhi bakhona sesonke. Do we use it with or without a condom?
Okay, yeah, no, this topic caught me off guard. But uyabona lento uyibuza kahle ukuthi how far does it go? Can you somewhat put condoms in place as a preventative measure of exchanging energies? So there are 2 points of contact. The first one is physical, which a condom can somehow prohibit from actually happening. Should the condom kunama layers in our vala, there is no exchange of fluids and physical contact ingene ngaphakathi. So it forms an insulation layer. But we cannot avoid the spiritual connection because uma ngabe seniyahlangana and you're engaging in sex, there will be that's why during sex uzigazi ngathi liyabaleka. That's a sign that there's something happening spiritually. And mawhiti orgasm, that's even worse because that's where cosmic connections are created. So lento masihamba nayisibuka siyabona ukuthi now sex has become such an important aspect in terms of growth yomuntu because you date this person and your life goes south without them influencing you bad physically. But ever since I started seeing this person, my life is going south. Nothing bad. But once I was with my ex, that's why people go back to their exes because the ex why negazi elihle. So maskhuluma ngegazi lemali, I love substantiating on what I'm saying. We look back into your blueprint. Everyone has a blueprint. The blueprint you've got fortune from your mother and your father and from God. That makes you extremely wealthy. That's why when they don't chase after money. But money somehow finds their way around. They don't struggle with money. They've got this vibrational energy, the auric field, which is attractive to money. Wow. That's why I want to bezagiti because we want to instill in you energy vibrations that will attract money because money is on a certain vibrational frequency. When you are upset, there's a frequency and you feel like you feel awkward. When you are happy, you can brighten everyone and everything in this room. So when it comes to the LGBTQ community, I'm not very much knowledgeable. But I would like to believe that as humans, as we engage spiritually, it's almost the same type of engagement process. So which I'd like to believe when people of same sex come together, behlangana kunaleya spiritual connection, because it's a symbiotic action. There's something I deposit in you, there's something I receive from you, physically and spiritually.
Anyway, it's coming. The round table for that is coming. Anyway, let me hear Jasmine.
Which part?
The same thing I was asking Well, you are a sexpert, honey. You are a sexologist.
So,
and you deal with all genders, same sex. Just talk to me and the munches.
yes, so I personally do not necessarily relate to the patia madlozi and coming onto you and so forth and so forth.
Yes.
However, when it comes to, I will echo what the gentleman was saying there. Mkhulu was saying over there as being mind, body, spirit. All right. Because when you have an agenda, you have to communicate that agenda to another person. And I believe so much in the power of belief. If you believe strongly onto something and say, wabona hanka bali patanani, I think my life will flourish.
Wow.
By just that power of belief of saying, I think if I engage with you sexually, my life will flourish. Because you believe it so much. That's just a faith thing. It will happen. When the Bible says just the size of a mustard seed, it's something that you already have a vision about it. You are now just need to manifest it. Right? So if somebody will say, this woman took my husband, that person did not necessarily take your husband. That woman said, I want what this one have. This man will make a good husband to me too. And they spoke into life, into that thing, and they engage with your husband. If your husband is spiritually sleeping, yes, they will win them over. But if he's spiritually awake, then he's not going to be taken. That's why you got to be praying and cover also your marriages and have that conversation. I love open conversations. And I say, if you are a married couple and you are feeling like you are attracted to somebody else, don't be afraid to come and tell your partner and say, Patanani, as my husband, I'm finding myself being attracted to Isithunywa.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's sit and explore why. Because now I'm going to start doing it in secrecy, trying to figure it out. I'm so drawn to him. There's an energy that is pulling me to him. And if I do it in privacy, WhatsApp, Ningid coffee, you see? So maybe he's a bit of an alpha male and I'm drawn to that alpha male energy. You probably maybe a beta man. Or you're an alpha and you're going through stuff and you're just not exuding that. And now I'm drawn to that. But by me sitting here and say, there's something pulling me towards this person. Yes. And I just want to explore that. Instead of actually doing it in the dark. Let's not do it in the dark. Because now things go as far as now a relationship being in ICU. Or now it gets to being sexual. Now, when you get sexual, now there's even more bonding. If you love it, it's even worse.
Okay, Sam.
But we're not going to blame it on the madlozi there.
No, it's fine.
It's not a madlozi thing.
You had the question right.
Yes.
You can
as a gay man, as part of the LGBTQ, as a rainbow, we are the most spiritual people ever that have ever existed.
I didn't know. Am I the most spiritual person?
But you also have to be. You really have to be because this world is not built in a way that accommodates you guys to do what you do or to have a lifestyle that you guys have.
We are the fluidity. I've once shared something about how gays came into existence and the Abantazang they didn't take it well. But I once said, being gay, or being a lesbian, or being part of the LGBT community, it's a concept of the marine spirits.
Of the marine spirits?
Yes. Because there's a sense of fluidity. That is why there are more than 61 sexualities. Is a corner in Italy. Yes, more than 61. That's why there's more than 61 sexualities. So we are the fluidity that flows. So that is why you get to see people No, we attract money. Money is part of us. And if you see a gay, a poor, that person is not aligned to who he's supposed to be. Aga attract the correct energies. Aga perform the correct rituals that is supposed to. He's not sleeping with the correct people. Gay people are very sexually active, majority, understand? And what makes them so much sexually active? It's because of sex. It's actually also a concept of the marine spirit. If you would dream yourself having sex with someone, you are experiencing isithunywa sasemanzini. That is why it's connecting with you. There's isithunywa that says, I am connected to your emotions, I am connected to your mental health, I am connected also to your physical being, but mostly to your emotions. So there's something that you suffer ngayo, khona into oyicelayo kulesi sithunywa lesi, but lento oyicelayo, it has to ubani ozokunikeza lesi sithunywa sasemanzini, which you call ithonga lakho. So now in order for you to connect nalesi sithunywa lesi sithunywa will come to you metaphorically using sex.
Okay, wait now. You think?
Why?
Yeah, let me.
You want the red one again?
Give me the white.
Okay, I will give it to you now.
My
But
goodness.
before I can give it to you, oh yes, darlings, don't forget to download the ABA data bank and make sure that you register and make money. Please do use my data bank ID MP781. After that, you will get your own data bank ID where you can use to refer people and make money and drink wine like me. Let's do a cheers, darlings.
Cheers.
Sizwe.
My lord.
Sizwe yazi mina ukuthi ngiyami ngigay angithi namthu. So ezihlanganisa ubugay ngizozibuza. Tell me, you spoke about rituals.
Yes.
Tell me, which rituals are supposed to do now?
If you are a marine spirit child, you were born by the marine spirits and you were created by the marine spirits. The rituals that you're supposed to do, I won't mention them because of, as LGBTIQ plus community, we have our own African spirituality that is different from someone who's not part of the LGBTI community. Yes, we do. We have certain specific rituals that we're supposed to open. For instance, you would find people hosting prides. You can't just host a pride in any month. You need to check ukuthi, is the presence of the moon there? Are the energies of the moon there? Because if you're a marine spiritual, that means you're connected to the moon. Spiritual people will agree with me, right? And we are connected to the moon. If you are connected to the moon, that means when the full moon is there, that means you are able to recharge yourself financially. So there are some certain rituals that we can do when we are hosting these prides, whereby so that mawufika ku pride uthatha imali yakho uthenga ngayo, the money is able to reciprocate back, iphinde ibuye futhi kuwena. Even the organization that is I'm hosting that pride can be able to regenerate money and all of that. So the problem about us as the LGBTI community people, we practice the most powerful ritual, which is sex between men and men, but we are not channeling it in a correct direction so that it benefits us singabantwana baga LGBTQI.
So our ritual is LGBTQI plus people is sex.
Sex is part of the rituals.
No. Answer me.
Yes.
Our ritual, powerful ritual, as LGBTQI plus, as gay and gay, lesbian, transgender, is sex.
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's why babona
You Sizwe smart man.
I'm saying
that's
that.
What you say.
Yes, I'm saying that.
You know, I will have this clip.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Mamela, that is the reason why, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but we study after this. It's rare to find umuntu. It's rare you find umuntu oyigedla who's gay. If you've ever noticed it. It's very rare. But if you find one, it's okay. Nakhona loyo, he's dominantly by ithunya zakhe, but ubugedla bakhe it's a submissive gift. But it's rare to find someone othi mina nginamadoda omgede, mina ngiphethe abantu abadala basemgedeni, mina ngineyithwala nana ngiyigedla. It's very rare to find that person gay. And it's very rare to find umuntu oyigedla who's light skin. If you would find one, then it would be from the tribe of it. But most
But
of
you
the...
feel like you get like.
Aye, gosh, sis, somewhere.
Proceed.
And why is the reason why you it's rare to find someone who's gay or gay. It's because ubugedla, it's a very masculine gift. Ngobeni, right? It's a very masculine gift. And if it's a very masculine gift, that means it needs to be dominated by earthly energies, earthly spirits. But if you were to be gay and ubegedla, that means the marine spirits that created you have to be dominant over you. And these marine spirits, they don't contain any masculinity, but they contain femininity in it.
Okay,
Then
thank you.
it's very rare to find one.
You've been like, let me hear you now.
ngimangele mina ngiyazizwela ukuthi amagedla abantu abamnyama kinjani mina. No, the thing is, so you're saying amagedla amadoda do not conform to LGBTQ.
The most that I've seen.
So la mantombazana athanda namantombazana athi angenwa amakhehla alala namanye amantombazana anamagedla.
Remember that spirituality is very fluid. It doesn't conform to heteronomy.
Yeah, ngiyakuzwa ukuthi wena.
Yes, but that just because of their dominant by makehla, just because they are dominant by makehla, that doesn't mean it's bangamake, babangamakehla. Ubugedla phela, it's a gift. It's not a gender.
Ubugedla yini kanti?
Phela ubugedla, we are saying you are a herbalist. That means you have a gift to harness the immunity.
Kisithupsi. Ubugedla kisithupsi.
Kinda, yes.
Kitshupsi phela ayithwasa ke.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. Story for another day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jasmine, anything you want to say? Yes.
Yeah,
you had a question,
I
and then,
did. I'm trying to also reconcile my mind because a lot of other information got added. Where Caesar?
Yes, my
Yes, you mentioned that the LGBTQ, or was it gays that you say, they are much more sexual beings compared to your heterosexual
Yes.
people.
Yes.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that because I feel like with the heterosexual people, they are just as sexual.
If not more.
It's just that, remember, especially for women, I find that women are also very sexual who are heterosexually straight women. You know, but where we come from with our upbringing, remember we got culture, we got religion, we got all of those things that say you have to be modest, you can't do this and that, you know. So their sexuality is kind of like shrinked to also just catering to their partner, their male partner, who's going to be a husband and whatever. So for the longest of time, women were hardly given an opportunity to explore their own sexuality. In fact, they were told by men, if I can call it that, about their sexuality. Where even other tribes, they will actually exercise genital mutilation and so forth. But to the core of them, because with my line of work, I find that women are very sexual, just that they have not found a space and a position to have been given permission. Because as if we have to also wait for somebody else to give us permission to receive that beautiful gift of sexuality and sensuality, which is what I do. So so I think there's a bit of I think it's a bit of a grayish thing, but I think every human being is sexual in spite of whether they are gay or not. I think given an opportunity,
yes.
I think you were talking about that earlier on, talking about being a nymph and say people are quite sexual. It's just that there's parameters and boundaries that say no, you can't do 1, 2, 3 because it's taboo, because you are going to have a certain label attached to you. You're not going to get married. I am a woman and I have been conditioned to want to get married and have children and have a family. So my sexuality does not take preference. It's not in the forefront of my purpose as a woman. But actually, part of my existence is to experience sexuality.
Okay.
So, but
sorry. Yes.
This is just my 1 cent. I'm not
It's
an
not
expert.
your 1 cent, honey. It's your 100,000 million cent.
Langenzi disclaimer because I could be wrong, but the show Smart Makosi, that was my personal experience as well. But you know, siyathanda information was scientifically proven before we accept it. But in my years, I've seen that, you know, homosexual relationships are more diverse in terms of, sexual partners, far more than I have experienced with, heterosexual partners. That's just my experience, because I've not seen a homosexual relationship where it's like two umuntu no muntu, it's just the two of them. In my experience, it's always busy. So what he's saying, I can relate to that, but to an extent where we don't have scientific information could be disregarded, but that's my experience.
In my field of expertise,
Which is?
being gay.
Oh.
Okay.
Please take another sip.
Yes, I find gay people very sexually active, and what makes them sexual, it goes back to what Patanani asked me, which you are saying sex is part of the most powerful ritual that gay people exercise, and I said yes, right? And what makes them so much sexually active, it's because majority of them are not aligned to who they truly are. You cannot say you're gay and then you're not spiritually gifted. Then what made you gay?
You cannot say you're gay and you're
Not spiritually gifted.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then what makes you gay?
So
What
being
ma-
spiritually gifted makes you gay?
Let me make an example to you.
No, before you can make an example, answer her.
Before?
Ukuba spiritually gifted, kuyakwenza ube gay.
Not to everyone.
So what is then the alignment of being gay?
That's where my example comes in.
Thank you.
Okay, before you can give an example, you wanted to ask something.
No, continue. I want to
okay.
hear. Maybe
Okay.
you just might answer what I wanted to.
A heterosexual child is born and a gay child is born. But there is a physical creation that happens between these two in the mother's womb, which is the same, right? All kids are created in the same way. But there's a spiritual creation that happens prior to the physical creation. And the spiritual creation is whereby gifts are gifted to this child and certain universal spirits attach themselves to this child. For a heterosexual child, the whole creation would be created physically and spiritually right towards the end of the giving birth of the mother. Then the grandmothers and the universal spirits, then they will come and say, I gift you spirit mode with Isithunywa, I gift you with Bongoma, I gift you with that and that and that. It's a power on its own, right? But for a gay child, it doesn't happen right at the end of it. The power that is given to a heterosexual child at the end, it's actually an ingredient for a gay child so that the whole creation itself can happen.
Wow. Thank you.
So you cannot call yourself gay and say I am not spiritually gifted, because that means you are taking out a whole entire 50% of yourself.
Wow.
Sizwe.
Okay. Let's take 5 minutes break.
Yo, wait.
Of course, I had to take 5 minutes break. We are Salaba, Munchies and Thoughts, and of course, I am your host, Sheva Patanani Bata. Not forgetting our partner, Data Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot is coming. Remember, I am a blueprint. Those who knows, they will agree, and those who don't know, they will disagree. A lot is coming. Jasmine, you wanted to say something to Caesar before I can introduce a new topic.
Okay, a quick one. I'm not quoting you. You mentioned that the gays. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back to the gay sex.
Okay.
That their sex is more powerful, or there's power in it.
Yeah.
More powerful.
Correct.
Compared to the
Heterosexual.
heterosexual.
Yes.
But wouldn't you say that me as a woman who's going to be engaging with a straight man, and we come into that sacred space of making love, right? And I also come and he comes inside of me. Isn't that also just as potent? I like to believe that they're just as equally potent, because I'd like to believe that the creator who created all of us with talents and anointings and everything else, that we have the power to just be as powerful when it comes to our orgasms.
Okay.
Because I feel like you're taking that away from me. Like,
No.
it's
And
more
it doesn't sit well with you.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. No, fairly enough to agree with you. Heterosexual sex, it is meant for pleasure and creation. One, right? yes, it is a ritual because we've been speaking about Isithunywa feeding through sex, right? So it has its form of rituality. But however, the gay sex, it is mostly towards the ritual part of it and the pleasure, but not the creation of it. So the reason why mostly you'll find in, I would say, darker kingdom for now. I'll say that's why you'd find in mostly darker kingdoms, when people are initiated into whatever position, be it maybe, I'm gonna be killed for this. Yeah.
I'm running the show. Have you forgotten?
Okay.
Please talk.
Be it you're gonna be initiated as a cardinal in a church, as a pope, as a maybe kunesithwalo sithizeni osithathayo African spiritual wise now, kunesithwalo osithathayo now. It's likely, it's possible, but it's likely for you to be requested to engage in a sex with a different gender. But most cases, it's a matter of engaging in a sex with the same sex person, because there's power in that. Power that is beyond the heteronomy or the heterosexual community. Sex.
But we did ask about the body being a vessel. We said, is it the same? But you said the body is a vessel. No matter how you're going to be having the sex, it's still a vessel that actually gets to manifest all of that, right? Because as a woman, I can go and be a heterosexually straight woman. I can go and engage with a heterosexually straight man and actually go in there to speak and probably curse through that ritual of having intercourse. As I climax, I'm already speaking and I'm cursing or I'm blessing.
You're channeling.
Yes. Oh,
okay.
yeah, it's called channeling.
Yes.
You know, isn't that just also the same thing as... Because it's just that we just in different, suits.
Yeah, correct. The body, it is a vessel, and yes, it does all of that, but in different vibrations. The vibrations are not the same.
What's about exercise?
And then, there was a hint of addiction.
Now back to me. Thank you so much. I hope you are fine now. I'm closing this.
Thank you.
No. I want to go to another topic. We've been standing here, but before, I'll give you a chance. So, the popes.
Am I pops in the
Popes.
Popos.
The popes.
Oh, the churches
The deacons.
thing. Yeah.
So, they need to sleep with Abu Patsaranso.
Imzala, that's a secret ritual that it's done. Mina, I have a story that I can tell whereby I was almost molested when we were attending a camp in Lokunjani back when I was in high school, and we attended a camp in a Roman church. And then these caretakers who abanakekela abafana, this guy came to me and said, like, these people, they can sense that when you are gay, even if when you don't know, but they somehow can tell that when you are. And by that time, am I really gay or not? Yeah, I understand. But he wears Zagimi and brushed him and all of. Okay, it felt so nice at the first point of it, but now coming to think of it, but I just didn't agree. And now having to learn and meeting people that were boys or guys that have been servants in the Vatican Church, in the Roman Catholic Church, that have shared their experiences that we were molested and we had sexual intercourse and all of that. I've been in an orgy. I mean, I'm very sexually active.
You've been on orgy?
Yes, I've been in an orgy. I mean, I love orgies, but it's just that I do them once in a time because I know the power of it. Spiritually. Means I've been in an orgy. In that orgy, it was hosted by priests of the church. Understand? Oh baba nje abadala. Oh baba nje abadala mabangene phakathi kwama uniform bahloniphekile and all of that. But I attended and I realized that there were so many young boys that were there, and there were these men that we had to entertain, and they were paying very good money and all of that.
Were we prostitute?
I was quite broke. I was broke by that time. Yes. Okay. So I attended that and all of that. But later I had to realize that no man, just during the orgy I had to realize no. this is a ritual. These people are sucking energy in us, and that's why they had to do this. That's why they are popping so much alcohol. That's why they are making sure that we are so right, sorted. Ama snacks akhona, yonke into ikhona.
Njengoba ngilenza sorted now.
Yes, don't know senza sorted. Mhlawumbe perform ritual nje kwazibandeka matches and thoughts. So they had to make sure. That's when I realized, no, this is actually a ritual. And coming to experience stories that come from this person, no, this is how they do it and all of that. And I was like, oh.
Wow, Sizwe, you've traveled the world, honey. And my munchies, I hope you are still enjoying the show because I am your
blown
host,
away.
Chef Patroni Bata. Ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed, before I can proceed to this topic, I want to ask something. Sizwe, why is Isithunywa fit through sex? Why is not Idlozi fit through sex?
Idlozi is very ancestrally and it comes very forcefully. So Isithunywa, it goes back to the self that I've explained. Idlozi liyakudlozomela, but Isithunywa masifika kuwena siphakamisa okungaphakathi kuwena, of which usuke uzalwe nakho, unakho wena ngokwakho qobo lwakho. So sisuke siphakamisa whatever that is within you, and whatever okungaphakathi kuwena can come with what Utsepiso has highlighted, ukuthi actually you love sex on ngokwakho qobo lwakho. Or it's actually a spiritual thing with what Umkhulu Spirit Mode has actually highlighted. So when Isithunywa enhance or harness what is inside of you, it doesn't choose whether it's a personal archetype of a thing or it's a spiritual type of a thing.
Okay. Before I can move to a new topic, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been waiting for this moment.
Yo.
The floor is yours, ma'am.
Season, ngifuna ukubuyisela emuva. Uthi wena. Hey.
Let's do a cheers.
Cheers.
God, darling.
15,
5
years.
15 episodes because
Yes,
I'm closing
15
episode to 16 episodes.
Which season?
This one is
This is
the
15, we are closing
15
going to
episodes.
season
Ah,
16.
Jesus, my Lord. Yes, ma'am.
Uthi wena Sizwe.
Makhosi Sizwe.
Makhosi.
Makhosi, let's do it. Makhosi. You can do it, I know you're a
Yes.
Christian. But you
Uthi
can
wena.
I'm excited about something that Sizwe just did.
It's the chips.
I'll tell you.
Uthi wena lapha esiswini lapha ya. Kune 50% ekudecide ukuthi uyoba straight or uyoba gay. Uwe. Angisho uthi lapha esiswini lapha ya. Why is it that the biology of the creation of men, this is female and male, would want you, Sizwe, I nearly said Sizwe Mbata, Sizwe,
Makhosi Sizwe.
Makhosi, be a man physically,
Okay.
and want to sexually be attracted to women, to men. To why? Because bayakubona ukuthi wenithanda ngapha namanye amadoda bangakuphanga imomozi biologically so. Right? And then also let us not move away from the fact that a God-given gift has nothing to do with your sexuality. Right? Isipho sakho. Isipho sakho has nothing to do nokuthi eswini you decided to be XX or YX or XZ. Right?
Okay.
I-biology nalonkulunkulu enithi uya decide ukuthi lo zoba mfana lo zoba intombi.
Let's just say creator.
Creator. Wakubheka wathi lo Sizwe lo sesiswini la ngiyomnika itotolozi. But ekumnikeni kwami itotolozi ngiyomwenza ukuthi athanda amanye amatotolozi uSizwe. Abe nali itotolozi lakhe. Eli fully functional because I believe ukuthi umama wakho mawusasemncane esakhipha inapkin alifaka bekalithola lithe akubona kahle umfana lo uyafunctiona fresh but akafunctioneli ngapha emamomozini ufunctionela kuphi ngapha ngase background uyayizwa lento. Why is it that biologically, because your emotions and your preference says I love other men, did not biology give you a momza to say Sizwe hambi yodleka mntana kama?
Okay.
uyothola into yakho.
Please answer so that you can move.
Okay. The physical creation of it has nothing to do with the spiritual part of it. One. Mamele. The physical creation of it has nothing to do with the spiritual part of it. However, what lives inside the body, it's what it's actually spiritually. I will find the Bible in yours.
Anginasikhathi sami.
Mamela, but ngizokufundisa mina. The Bible says, mkhulu spirit mode, uNkulunkulu wadala uAdam noEva, right? Wathatha ubambo luka Adam, wadala bani, wadala uEva. Now when you dissect that or decipher that spiritually, it actually says, in each and every Adam, there's an Eve inside him. In each and every Eve, there's an Adam inside him, inside her. You understand? So, if there's a spiritual part of it that is involved, going back to the example that I made about the marine spirit, them being feminine and all of that, it doesn't matter uguti what gender are you or what gender are you physically, but if the spiritual part of it involves, it enhances what is inside of you. And as a man, the marine spirit enhanced the femininity in me, and the femininity in me, by the nature of creation, it is attracted to what? To masculinity. That is why the physicality of me, it is attracted to the physicality of what? Of men. Attracted nendoda, but it's not a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing, because the spirit that I contain, or that is part of my creation. Because go back to what I said to you, in order for a gay child to be created, the power that is deposited in a heterosexual child, at the end, this child is actually a ingredients that is requested, that is needed to complete the creation of it. So the spirit enhances the femininity, the Eva that is in me, and the Eva is attracted to Upatanani, and Upatanani uyindoda. Then I find myself attracted to Upatanani.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My Munchies and Thoughts family, I hope you are still enjoying the episode. And of course, love Munchies and Thoughts, we don't finish content. A lot is coming. And of course, my table is back. And a lot of discussions will be back. And of course, we will be on Munchies and Thoughts on the move. First stop is, tell them.
KZN.
Yep.
Mighty Lord.
KZN, guys. Finally, you get to see me do this live, not on lives on TikTok. Guys, we introduced to you Munchies and Thoughts on the Move that we will be launching now in June. And our first stop is KZN. Munchies and Thoughts on the Move appeals to the people that want to understand spirituality, religion, and traditions, which are customs. We are hoping we will be able to bring you people that are well invested in understanding customs, traditions, spirituality, and religion. And we were wanting to bring it to you in a sense that sihlala nayo umuntu phansi, people get baba overwhelmed mabahlele etafuleni kanje. But when we come to your place where you are more comfortable, it is easier for you to engage with us, and maybe from that we can learn a bit more, and we are hoping that we can bring you the best of the information that will come from these people that we will be interviewing.
Two Munchies on the move.
Munchies on the move.
And the round table as well.
And round table.
So, darlings, I'm gonna ask you